Welcome everybody to Mom Street USA. My name is Kate, aka the Disney Cicerone, and with me as always is Jackie, aka Wish's Mama, and we are talking tonight about how to save money at Disney, which I feel like is a very timely topic considering
Yes.
how everybody's cost of living has gone up a bit, and it's everybody's feeling a little bit tighter for their budget. So
Yeah.
so we're talking about saving some money at Disney and how you can do that for your family tonight. How are you doing,
Yeah.
Jackie?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a busy day, but I'm excited. This episode, I feel like, is so needed and going to be so helpful to so many people. And I feel like I do pretty good and I use a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today. So that made me feel really good as I was like making the list of things that I wanted to talk about. I was like, oh, I know a lot of this. I do pretty
Yeah.
good with this.
Yeah. Yeah, this was an easy one for me to think of because I was like, I already do a lot of this stuff anyway to try to save money, especially when I go with my family. So this
Yeah.
was like, I didn't even have to do a lot of research. I could just like pull it out of my head and be like, these are all the things. But our
Right.
community, our wonderful Mom Street community, also contributed a whole lot to this
Yeah.
episode. And we really just thank you guys for sending in all of your tips and hacks and things for saving money because we've added a lot of those into this episode as well. And those
Yes.
really do make a difference adding to the show because there's things that we didn't even think of that are on there. So thank you for
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Shout out to our community. And I did not note with every suggestion who made it. So when we get to yours, you'll know it's you. But thank you
Just raise
guys
your
so
hand
much.
if it was your suggestion.
Raise your hand. Tell it, shout it out. Say, oh, that was me. Perfect. It'll work. So let's jump in, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to start
Yes.
off talking about some discount gift cards?
Yes, I think this is one that a lot of people are aware of, but maybe some might not be. So let's talk about discounted gift cards. So if you do not know, there is, I would say, about 90% of things at Disney that you can pay with a gift card. So if you're looking at food, if you're looking at merch, if you're looking at even booking your trip, you can use Disney gift cards. Now, there are on occasion third-party vendors, some restaurants, especially at like Disney Springs, if you're at Walt Disney World,
A few at Epcot too.
yeah, that don't accept Disney gift cards. So you always want to make sure you have something extra with you if you're planning on using this. But several different places that you can get discounted gift cards. As I was doing my research, I kind of came across three really good ones that I found kind of across the country. There are some more localized that we'll talk about as well. But the first one I want to talk about is Target. So if you have a Target Red Card, which is the Target credit card that they offer, there's no annual fee with it. If you're someone who shops at Target, chances are good you probably already have one. You will get 5% off of Disney gift cards. So that alone can save you a ton, especially if you're planning on buying gift cards to pay for a large portion of your trip or to cover food, whatever it may be. So to give you just an example, I literally did this today, which I thought was very fitting because I'm starting to plan ahead for hopefully a trip soon. And I went and got a $25 gift card because I'm going to buy a couple in small increments as I get closer to my trip. And I got it for $23.75. So
That's great.
that's your 5%.
I mean, every
which,
little bit, as they say in Ireland,
exactly.
every little helps. They don't say every little bit helps, which bothers me, but as they say every little helps, but it does. Every little bit
Yes.
helps. So.
Yeah, especially if you're looking to, like I said, and with this one, I even feel like the smaller amounts that you buy doesn't feel as substantial, but once you kind of add it all up together, it feels like a lot bigger of a savings. So just keep that in
Yeah.
mind. But again, any discount is helpful.
Well, and you're probably going to Target anyway, so might as well pick up a
Right.
gift card while you're there.
Yeah.
Or ordering online or getting the pickup. I really like the Target pickup.
Oh, me
I'm a
too.
big fan.
Me too, especially when I have my kids and I don't have my husband, and then I don't have to attempt to wrangle them in Target because they know in our Target where all the toys are, all the Pokemon cards are, all of
Yep.
the Disney princess toys are, all of that. So
I
yes,
know.
exactly.
I save so much money when I don't go into the store. But then I also don't get to like roam around the store and shop, which is also kind of like mental health therapy.
I roam when I don't have my kids. If I have my kids,
Yes.
there is no roaming.
Yeah, I know. I
There
like
is
to
no
get a
roaming.
Starbucks and roam around the aisles and
Yes.
look at all the things.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on our roundtable episode a couple episodes ago, Kat, our friend Kat, was mentioning that like every payday she would just go out and buy a gift card for however much she could spare at that moment, and then just kind of tuck some away for later. So I think that's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
And then a reminder as well that if you go to disneygiftcards.com, you can combine your smaller gift cards into one. So you're not dealing with $10, $25 gift cards. Instead, you have
Yeah,
less
who wants
to
to carry all
carry.
of that, right?
No. And keep
Here's my
track of
30
who
gift
did
cards in
what.
my pocket.
Right.
Yeah,
And like keep
which
track
gift
of
card
what
has.
exactly what
Yeah.
has what on it and who used what and all of that. So again, that's Target, 5% off with your red card. The next two are a little more dependent on having memberships.
Wait, before you
Yeah.
go on, do they have an expiration date? Someone's asking. Do they
Do
expire?
the gift cards have an expiration date?
Yeah, I don't
I
believe they do.
do not believe they do.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Meant
I
to
think
grab
they made
one and
laws
I didn't.
against that like fairly a while ago. They made laws against gift cards expiring so
Yeah.
that because it's like the people paid that money for that you
Right.
owe it to them. So even
Yeah.
if you have a super old gift card that they like don't even make anymore, they still have to honor it because of laws that
That makes
protect
sense.
people, can protect the consumer. So
Yeah,
shouldn't
that makes
expire.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Erin, good tip. Erin said also you can add your gift cards to your Apple Wallet if you have an iPhone. So
Oh,
that is
yeah.
a good thing too, because a lot of places now I've even started to see on Disney World property will do Apple Pay.
Yeah.
So that's an option. I wouldn't, again, none of these payment methods are foolproof across every location on property. So you're always going to want to have a backup. But that's definitely a good option to have it kind of preloaded there and maybe on you as well so you can use it both places.
Yeah, and Dex is saying like how Disney still takes Disney dollars, like those gift cards don't expire. Disney still takes Disney dollars. If you don't know what that is, I might have to do a post on it at some time. It's just
Yes, please do.
historical Disney money that doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah, Erin says that helps them keep track of them. The other nice thing is if you do go on that disneygiftcards.com, it will keep your balance up to date for you. I don't know that it's like instant, like per second update, but I know that it's accurate as far as a few minutes if you're spending and you want to know about what you've got left on that gift card.
Yeah.
Kirk says if you have Disney dollars, don't spend them. It's worth a lot of actual money, plus it's fun history.
Yeah, I have one somewhere, but I haven't been able to find it in a while. So
No.
if I find it, I'll let you guys know, but
Yes.
I don't know where it is.
Yes. Okay, so I think that is our Target spiel. We could talk about Target probably all night.
All day. Yeah.
Because we
we're
can.
moms.
Yes.
We're women.
Exactly.
We're moms. We're
Exactly.
people. We're humans.
We're
What
humans.
human does not like to shop
Humans-
at Target?
Yes. Humans with money, humans without money. Everyone loves Target, right?
Everybody loves Target. Yes.
This is now becoming an infomercial for Target. Moving on. Okay, let's talk about a
We're
couple
not
other.
sponsored by Target yet.
Okay, so let's talk about two other places that you can also get discounted gift cards at. And both of these, like I mentioned before, are more dependent on having a membership. So if you've got a membership to Sam's Club, they do offer discount deals for gift cards. Now, from my understanding, I don't have a Sam's membership, so maybe if someone doesn't has done this, they can put this in the chat. But this deal is not consistent. It can come and go. So sometimes they offer it, sometimes they don't. So one of those things that you just got to kind of keep your eye on. And at Sam's, it's typically only a 3 to 4% savings. Occasionally, it is more if they're running bigger deals. So you just kind of have to keep an eye on that. To decide if you want to go ahead and bite the bullet and buy whatever Sam's has to offer.
Yeah.
And again, that is with your membership. So if you're paying for a Sam's membership to get the discounted gift cards, don't know whether or not that would be worth it. But if you're someone who already
not.
has a Sam's Club membership, that would be helpful if you're already utilizing that purchase. So that is that one. And then the other one is BJ's.
Wait,
Yes.
Melinda says usually around Thanksgiving they have $200 for $180. So
Okay.
maybe look for deals around that probably Black Friday time. Might be a
Yeah.
great time to look for it. Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing that,
Cassie
Melinda.
said she has gotten a $500 card for $480 before.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so
Every little helps.
Exactly, exactly. And then, like I said, so BJ's is the other one that I found. And again, you have to have a membership for that. And it is typically around a 4% savings. So when I mentioned earlier that the ones at Target would be $25, but you'd get them for $23.75. If you're doing that 4%, you're getting, wait, I did that wrong. Never mind. I'm looking at my math thing. That's not right. It must be 2404. Okay.
Math's not mathing over here.
It was not mathing. I don't know. I don't know what I did.
Okay.
I don't know what I did.
We understand.
But yeah, so not quite as much of a discount. Yeah, so it would be $25 for 2404. So there we go. I fixed it. I put the wrong number in there, but I figured it out.
Yeah. Do you know about Costco? Because I know I don't have a BJ's or Sam's near me anywhere.
So I looked at Costco, and I've actually had, so my sister has a Costco membership, and I've put her on the task of every time they go, I want them to check and see. I have not seen any Costco deals for a really long time. They have done it previously, but I don't believe it's something they're actively doing, or they haven't done it in a really long time.
Yeah, I know they've had they have trip packages and things like that.
Yes,
so I think people assume there's also the gift card.
Exactly.
Deal.
So they do at Costco have deals that you can book for like tickets and packages and things, but I don't believe when speaking about the gift cards specifically that they have any to offer.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for answering that. Because I don't. I was like, I
That's the
haven't heard
best
of it
of
either.
my knowledge.
But I haven't been a Costco member in a while, so.
Yeah. And like I said, I think I asked my sister and her husband to start looking like well over 6 months ago, and they haven't seen anything come through.
Okay.
So if you know of one or you've seen one lately, please put it in our chat so we can tell the people. But if not, like I said, I haven't seen any recently.
All right. Well, so is that all our gift card?
Yes, that is what I know to share with you all when it comes to gift cards.
So we forgot to preface this section a little bit. We're kind of divided this evening into two sections, kind of things you can do before your trip to save money, and then things you can do while you're on your trip. And some of them, there's a little bit of overlap too, but just so you guys get a sense of how this episode is organized. So we're starting with the gift cards because it's kind of like you're saving for your trip. And then we're going to talk about some ticket discounts, which I feel like is something people ask me all the time. They ask me, how can I save money on tickets? And this is always, I always kind of just say there really isn't that much of a discount anywhere where it might not be worth the trouble of doing it. I usually kind of just tell people it might be better to just book direct with Disney, especially if you're getting a package because you save money. I know that at AAA there is discounts, and it does depend on where you live. Like, I don't think I can get Walt Disney World discounts at AAA, but because I live in the Northwest, I can get Disneyland discounted tickets through my AAA. So that really depends on where you live in your region if they have discounted tickets for that. You do have to be a AAA member for that as well. Usually I just go right into the office, and at our office there's never any wait, but there might be some, but and then you just ask for those, and then you can save up to 30% off of Walt Disney World tickets with a AAA membership as well. Do you want to talk? Do you know more about that? Because I haven't heard.
I don't know a ton. It was just kind of some research that I did online where I was looking at general kind of overview of different discounts that were available for tickets. What I found on AAA is you can save up to about 30% off of Walt Disney World tickets, but it also depends on what type of tickets that you're getting. So it kind of goes along with the fact that, a 2-day park hopper per day is more expensive than a 5-day park hopper, the way that Disney does their tickets. So it really just depends on what you're getting will kind of depend on what type of discount you can get. And the same goes with Disneyland, what I found. So Disneyland, their website states you can save up to $35 on tickets. But again, it depends on what type of
Yeah.
ticket and how many days and
I don't
all
know if
that
I've
kind of
ever
stuff.
saved that much. I have bought tickets
Right.
at AAA before. This is something I've done, especially in the past when we were really living leanly and we wanted to save every dollar, um, which we're kind of heading back there now, but with the way the
Yeah.
world is. But
Yeah.
I feel like it was only a couple dollars per ticket, maybe five
Yeah.
to 10 max. It was not a ton, but if
Mm-hmm.
every dollar counts and you really want to save money, you can do that. And then you can link your tickets with your My Disney Experience account or your Disneyland account. So that's fairly easy to do with the app or online on their website. So
Yeah.
they are legit tickets. They're not scammy in any way, and they're like any tickets. They're non-transferable once you like attach it to your account. But definitely a way to save a few dollars if you're already a AAA member.
Yeah, and again, kind of like we were talking about with the discount gift cards, some of those deals come and go. So they may be running deals and specials at certain times. They may lower or raise their discount depending on the time of year. So it really just depends, and
Yeah.
it's something that you would want to. And like Kate said, I would suggest going into your AAA because I know when I was visiting their website, they like really wanted me to narrow down my location to be able to tell me what type of discounts. So it was hard to kind of find like generalized ones because like their website does not want you to do that. So I would definitely just visit your local branch, or if you've got someone there that you know or have talked to before, reach out to them and see what they have to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple other places where you might be able to get some discounted tickets. I know Undercover Tourist does have them, and they are an authorized seller.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes what they'll do is they discount tickets that have the way they're able to offer a discounted ticket is they have these tickets that have like an expiration date. And so you have to use them before a certain date.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're not open ended, that's why they're discounted, because they're for sure going to like expire at a certain point.
Yeah.
So I know you noted here, Jackie, that you can save $35 to $45 per Walt Disney World ticket or $8 to $33 per Disneyland ticket. Again, if you're getting a park hopper or multiple day, it really depends for how much
Mm-hmm.
you're going to save. And they do have really great deals for California residents for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So California residents in
Yeah.
general get heavily discounted
Right.
tickets to Disneyland. That's a
Yeah.
thing. So
And I think the way that their marketing is just really smart because it's like in big red where it comes to the California residents section on their website. But yeah, you can save hundreds as a California resident. So if any of you live in California and are looking for discounted tickets, Undercover Tourist may be a good place for you to go because there were like numbers up into the hundreds of savings for those specific package deals that they were offering.
yeah, and I know sometimes it has to be like Southern California resident, not just California resident, but
Yeah.
it
And some of
depends.
them had like stipulations of zip codes and things like that. So you may or may not
Yeah.
qualify depending on where you live, but they do have some really good deals there. And I will mention, like Kate said, they are an authorized kind of resell site, so to speak. So do keep in mind that those tickets do not come directly from Disney. So if you are purchasing them and you have issues with linking, issues with entry, issues with any of that, Disney's going to say, we can't help you. It's not our ticket. And
Yeah.
they're going to send you back to Undercover Tourist. So in a perfect world with no issues, it's not a problem to have a third party vendor being your ticket provider. But if you have major issues, that could become even more of an issue.
Yeah, and the other thing is that because you buy tickets often they are not necessarily dated. Sometimes they are depending on where you get them from. But if you buy them from a third party vendor, sometimes they're not dated tickets and you have to go and make that reservation for your park, which Disneyland's system, if you buy direct from Disney and you buy Disneyland tickets on their website, you will make a date for your park reservation when you buy your tickets. They won't allow you to buy the tickets without a park reservation at the same time. Now, Disney World is different because you buy your tickets and then you go
And
make a
then,
park reservation.
yeah.
So it's a different system there. But if you buy third party tickets, you're going to need to not only link it to your account, but then you're going to need to go in and make your park reservations, Disneyland, Disney World, wherever. So don't miss that step. We still have theme park reservations. I'm guessing they're not getting rid of them anytime soon. So
Probably not.
make sure you make your theme park reservations, especially
Yeah.
if you get a ticket from an outside vendor, because
Yeah.
you don't want to get there and not be able to get into the parks. That would be very sad.
Right. Very, very sad. And also remember, too, that if you're buying your tickets outside of Disney, you're not technically booking a package with Disney World or Disneyland
Yeah.
for that matter. So think about some of the little perks that you get for booking a package. You have longer to pay off that package. And you get some of those little extra perks that we actually talked about just in our last episode, the vouchers for mini golf and some of those extra things. You won't get those if you're buying third-party tickets. So that may not matter to you. You may not care. You may be more concerned about that savings, which is totally fine if that's what you'd like to do. But just want to make you aware that that would then negate those little bonuses of having that package deal through Disney, because you would move to a room-only reservation if you're staying on property.
Yes, that's correct. So that's usually why I tend to suggest people book directly with Disney or through a travel agent that books you directly with Disney, just so that there's less confusion. It's a little less hassle. Like for me, the like couple dollars that you save on the tickets isn't worth the hassle of doing all of these things. But you know, it really could mean something to you. So everybody can decide for themselves if that would really help your budget. That's why we want to give you all of these options, and you can decide what's best for your family.
Yeah,
There's a
absolutely.
couple. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yep, I agree.
There's a couple other ways you can kind of save a few dollars. One is you can visit in the off season. So off season is so relative now because it's like crowds is not really an off season, but Disney still does define an off season price wise. A lot of their tickets are tiered so that if you're hitting the holidays, you're paying like top tier dollar for your ticket versus if you're in the off season, which is think of when kids are in school, like when it wouldn't be convenient for you to go is essentially when it's cheaper to go. So if you need to, you know, whatever you need to do to go during that off season, you will save a little bit of money, at least on your tickets, and often on your rooms as well. Rooms are cheaper on the weekdays and in the off season. So you'll save a significant amount of money, I think, going in the off season. Yeah. And but I wouldn't expect it to be not busy then, just to be clear. It just might be a little cheaper.
Never not busy. It's
Never not busy now. No.
Yes, yes. The one other thing I do want to mention, there have been a lot of really good comments in my chat, so I'll kind of hit on a couple of those. Erica mentioned that Disney Plus is another good way to look for discounts. So a lot of them have like package discounts if you are a Disney Plus subscriber. Again, dependent on if you already have that purchase, which if you're going to Disney, chances are good that you probably have a Disney Plus account because it's just one of those things. So do keep a lookout for those, or ask your travel agent to keep a lookout for those so that way they know if you'd be eligible for that or not, because I know that they do run those. I've seen those pretty much yearly for the last, since Disney Plus has been in existence, that they've run some deals for that. So that's another good one. The other thing that my chat was talking about was insurance companies or different or employers also will run discounts as well for their employees and for their members of insurance, I know as well. So definitely check kind of all your bases when it comes to that, to make sure that you have not missed any discounts that you may qualify for.
Yeah, and I will throw in that for many, many years, I have used the website mousesavers.com, which looks like it's from the 90s because I don't think they've updated their format since then, but the information is legit. It's just super old school, but they update it very regularly. And there's also really good history of like when they're releasing discounts for things or when they have historically released discount for Disney things. So if you're like, gosh, I want to go, but they're not offering any hotel discounts on packages right now, you can actually go in there and see historically when they've released them. That doesn't necessarily mean that's when they will release them, but it gives you an idea of kind of their company policy on when they tend to release these kinds of discounts. And I feel like that's always really helpful information. They have information on discounted tickets and resorts and transportation and virtually everything. It's been a really helpful website. I just don't know why they don't update their website.
I used that website whenever we were doing all of our resort episodes, and they have such helpful information for even just to see the way that the room rates fluctuate. So if you know you want to stay at Port Orleans, but you want to know when the cheapest time has been to go, it's a huge help because, like you said, they've got history several years back,
Yeah.
showing kind of the trends of all of that. So that's definitely a huge help.
Yeah, so mousesavers.com, in case you missed the website, that's what I'm talking about. And I did want to mention too, for in terms of ticket discounts, that one thing you can maybe plan on it if you're like, gosh, we can only go to Disney once, this is like we can only do it once, that's all we can afford right now, and I get that. Just remember that kids are free before they're 3. And they're also have discounted tickets, children's tickets for 3 to 9 years old, and then after that, they're an adult. After that, they're not an
Okay,
adult.
Disney.
Like, it's terrible, but yeah. So
Yeah.
if you want a budget and you're like, okay, well, I can, before my child turns 3, then I can go and they can get in free. Or if you want to just make sure before they're 9, maybe if you're just like, we're only going to go once, but we want them to do as much as possible, maybe head it so they're closer to that age 9, and then you can do a lot of the things and still get the discounted tickets for them.
Yeah, I took both of my kids purposefully before they turned 3, so
Yeah, I
that
did
way
too.
at least one trip, they'd be free. And I remember price comparing our trips because our first trip with my daughter and our second trip with my daughter, she turned 3 in between, and I remember doing price comparisons and my husband going, why is it so much more expensive? And I was like, we now have to pay for a whole nother set of tickets, and that's like, 300, 400, 500 extra dollars depending on how many days you're doing. So
Yeah,
that
it's a lot more.
can be a massive help if you're able and you're going to go several times, or it fits with your budget and your calendar, all of the above. Obviously we just want you to go when you can go, but that is definitely a huge discount if you're able to get those kiddos there before they're 3.
It's true. And you also, you can also, sorry, everybody's speaking in different languages on my chat, and I don't know what's happening. Anyway, so
Okay.
I just crack it up. You guys are the best. So the other thing is when they're really, really little like that, they don't really need a lot of food necessarily. Like I know my kids, I brought a lot of their snacks, or they like shared my food. I could cut up little pieces of chicken or vegetables for my kids. And so you do
Yeah.
save a tremendous amount of money on that too. But the downside is they don't remember it as much before they're that age, right? But we do. So I think it's
Right.
still worth going, but
Right.
it's trade-offs.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally just had this conversation with my sister the other day because I'm trying to convince her to take my niece before she turns 3. And her response to me was, well, she's not going to remember any of it. I said, well, you see, there's this saying that I have where it's, if they're under 3, it's for me.
Yeah.
It's
I love
not for
that.
them at that point. It's for me and us to have those memories together and to take videos and photos and all of that and show them when they're older.
Yeah. And they're
And I
so
still,
adorable.
my kids ask to see photos of previous trips all the time. They want to know
Yeah.
who they met and where we went and what we ate and what rides we went on. And it's like, okay, let me see what all I took pictures of.
I know. I know my kids love it, seeing the pictures, like their first trips to the park, because I documented those ones pretty well.
Yeah.
Not for my third, because the third child, you're tired by the third child. So she's got some
Poor kiddo.
photos. She doesn't have a lot, but like my first one has like a full blown scrapbook. My
Yeah.
second one has like an album, and my third one, like, I just have a lot of digital photos, and I'm like, it's fine.
It's
They
there.
still exist.
We've got it.
It's
still look at them.
motherhood. But yeah, they love to look at those pictures of themselves
Yeah.
and be like, look at, this is my first picture, my first trip to the park. So yeah, they're fun
Yeah.
memories.
Exactly. Yes. It's my chat is agreeing. They said it's so true.
Yeah. Yeah. Those poor
Okay.
3 and 4 and above kids, they don't, nope.
Sorry, kiddos. You are loved, but life gets a little crazy sometimes. Okay.
Yeah. So should we move on? Keep on.
Yes. Let's talk about credit cards. This first one in this section is one that I will preach because I think it's super, super helpful. And that is the Disney Chase Visa card. So I am already a Chase member. We already bank at Chase. So once we kind of got that rolling, I was like, oh, look at this. This is convenient. It is a Visa card, just like any other credit card that you would use. It has no annual fee. The biggest perk is that you get 1% back from all purchases, every purchase that you make on that card, and it all goes back into what they call Disney dollars. Basically, for any purchase that you're making on that card, you're getting free Disney money, which is
pretty great.
really, really nice. Really, really nice. What I always do is I put my I put my words. Okay.
You got
Sorry,
this.
my brain just like went blank. We're good. I put my vacation packages on my Disney Visa card, because then I'm getting 1% back of, you got to think, I mean, my family of 4, easily a $5,000 vacation every time we go at the minimum. So I put that on that card. You know, I don't do it all at once. I do it in increments because
Sure.
I can't handle that. But then I get money back from going to Disney. The other thing that I will do is, as I know I'm getting closer to my trip, about 6 months out, I will not use any of my other cards that I have, and I will only use that card. Because either way, it's all coming out of my same bank account, but that way I get more Disney gift card money. And so then what they do, first of all, I have to show you. Let me cover my, look how cute. Oh, I'm bumping things. Look how cute the design is.
Oh, that's so adorable.
I know, they have a ton to choose from, and these were new for the 100th. And then, so then what they do is they give you this little redemption card. And
fun.
it's just like a gift card, and it's reloadable, and it's all on the website. So any money that you earn through your regular day-to-day purchases, you can then put on one of those cards, and it works just like a Disney gift card. The only downside is you can't combine it with your other Disney gift cards. So I still end up having 2 cards with me. I have a regular Disney gift card and then that one with me. But it's free Disney money. You really can't go wrong with free Disney money.
Does it have an annual fee? I didn't know if you
No.
mentioned that. Okay.
No.
Well, that's nice.
Now they do. I couldn't find it on the website. It didn't look super hard, but I know they had a premium version as well that had an annual fee, but had a higher percent back on the purchases at one point in time. I know they do. They also do have a debit card that doesn't earn the cash back. Yeah, Holly is saying the same thing. Doesn't earn the cash back, but does still have discounts. So the other thing is you get
fun.
10% discount on merchandise at the Disney store or Disney outlet stores. It's on any purchase. You automatically get that, which has been really, really helpful if I've been buying things at the Disney outlet, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
At the Disney parks, any purchase of $50 or more. So I've been known to make my family purchase their stuff all at one time. So I make sure that we get to $50 and we're not buying $10 here and $20 here. Cause then you don't get the discount and it's not worth it. So I
You're write it on the list.
Literally. Make a mental note when we circle back around, we're all buying at the same time. So you do get that 10% off there. They occasionally do run package deals that you can get as a Disney Visa member as well. Holly is saying there's a 35% room discount right now for card holders. So that is a perk that you have as well, where you get those discounts from there. The other thing that they offer, which is really great, which is a 0% financing for a 6-month period on Disney vacation packages. So if you're buying your package through there, that also applies to, and it's not every single package. You have to look at the terms and make sure that you do it the right way. But that also does apply to, it applies to the resorts, to cruise packages, and also Alani packages as well. So if that's something, no, you're good. I was like, is she talking to me or not?
Nope. Nope. I'm talking to Conductor Jackson in my chat, and I'm saying thank you, and I'll look for you. Sorry.
It's okay.
Appreciate that.
So that's something that's super helpful if you're looking to book a package. They do offer that 6-month 0% financing as well. So all really, really good reasons to have that, especially Chase is one of the biggest banks I feel like in the country. Like I said, I was already a Chase member. Then I found out about this card and I was like, sign me up. And I've been using it for years. And my husband and I are just really strategic about how we use it. And we'll use it for, like, previously, the past couple trips that we've gone, we use it for like our extra food money if we want to go to like festival booths, or we want to do a table service, because we don't do those very frequently. We'll use that money that we got basically for free, just for buying things we would normally buy. And we get those for free, basically. We've also used it for merch. You know, it just depends on how you want to use it. And we wait until the last second. I will say, if you're ordering the little redemption card, you want to give it a couple weeks to get to you. But like, I already have one. So literally the day before I leave, that way I get as much money accounted for on my account as I can. I can just go on the app and preload my card right from my app, and it's there. So really, really helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I did see a comment earlier from Lem who said, like, how we all afford Disney is like going to credit card debt. I want to say that I know it's a joke, but I don't want to advocate for credit card debt. I think, like, if you use these things, you know, be responsible, pay off your card every month if you can. I'm actually like, I think Kirk knows this about me, but we are debt-free people in our homes, and we don't believe in credit cards. So I'm just like, okay, but this is good information, especially for people who can pay it off every month. But I'm like, I'm a Dave Ramsey gal, and we got out of debt. We got out of debt like years and years ago, and so I'm just like, credit cards make me like sweat a little bit. So, so the debit card sounds like a great option for those of you who are a little bit more credit averse like me. Also doing the gift cards and saving them, like we pointed out earlier in this episode, is also a really great option for those who are budgeting, but maybe don't want to do it with, you know, a bank account or envelopes or whatever. So yeah, so sorry, I just had to drop this in there, because I'm just like, we don't have to go into debt to go to Disney. We can save up and then go.
Yes. And honestly, like I said, for us, the way that we utilize that Visa is, it's because we do use credit cards from day to day, but we are kind of the same way. We use them, but we pay them off every month. So we're not, you know, having issues there, but we just transfer everything that we would already be buying, because we kind of divide out based on due dates of our credit cards. So we just put that all on the Visa. So that way we just kind of get more bang for our buck. So
yeah, I think it makes sense if you're getting it for points and getting it for all the deals and savings. Like, I think there's absolutely a way to do it responsibly. I just want to make sure we're not advocating credit card debt, because I'm not advocating that.
No, not at all. Not at all. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
I feel like there's a lot of families that, you know, just put all of it on the card, and then they're just in debt for a few years to pay it off. And I'm like, well, you know, if that's your situation, I'm not here to judge, but I'm just saying there's a lot of ways to save money and to, you know, save up to go to it. So, and using these credit cards is a good tool to save a little extra money. So
yeah, absolutely. The other thing that you can also do, if you're talking about saving a little at a time, sometimes it's easier for people to have that money kind of out of sight, and you can do you can purchase further out and just make little payments as you go. So if you know for sure what dates you're going, and you know that even if they are going to maybe change, you can still book as soon as those dates become available, and then just every month make a couple $100 payment and use it that way too. So again, and that's usually what I do when I'm paying off my trips with my Visa, is I just do a couple $100 a month until it's all paid off. And then either way, I'm still getting money back on the money that I'm spending to go to Disney. So
right. No,
it's a win-win for me.
That's so smart. All right, I know I derailed us a little bit. Was there more to the credit card conversation?
Yes, so that is kind of in a nutshell. Sorry, that was a very lengthy explanation of the Disney Visa card. I just think it's a really great thing to utilize. There are also other credit cards that you can do, airline and travel credit cards. There are so many options from, all of the major banks, Capital One, Bank of America, Discover, Chase, all of the above, all offer different travel-specific credit cards. Example of discounts with various different options. You can get 2 times miles on flights, free TSA pre-check, no foreign fees if you're going, if you're someone who goes to Disney but maybe or wants to go Disneyland Paris, all of that type of thing. They do bonus miles sign-on bonus miles, all those kinds of things. So those, again, I don't know a ton about those because I don't fly and I don't travel enough to where they would be helpful for me.
Yeah.
But I know that those do exist if that's something that you're looking to utilize.
Yeah, and I do know that the Southwest Airlines has one of the best.
Yes,
If you're they
a
have
lot
a
of the
great
airlines
program.
do.
Sometimes you can even get companion passes, so you get a ticket free when you buy one. There's all. I have a friend who uses Southwest, only Southwest, and has like knows how to work the deals, and she saves so much money with that card, and then using those points towards travel. She like rarely pays for plane tickets, so
Yeah.
that's definitely one to look into if you're love flying Southwest. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, and there are lots of other airlines that offer them as well. Again, I don't have a ton of details, and I'm not going to sit here and list this one has this and this one has that because that's
No.
just a lot.
I know.
But just know that those deals are out there. So if you're someone who flies frequently enough and is also going to be flying when it comes to your Disney trip, that may be helpful for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Cassie says, tax refund. You mean Disney money? Yep. I think a lot of people feel that way.
So should we move on to our next one? This is all, we're still in the before
Yes.
your trip zone for saving money for anyone who's keeping track.
Lots of things to do before. So the next one, let's talk about some money saving apps. A couple different things that you can utilize on your smart device, whatever you want to use it for. So many different apps that you can scan receipts and get points and get money and gift cards and those types of things. So coupons.com, Dosh, Ibotta, Retail Me Not, Upside, Fetch, Shopkick, Rakuten, all of those are all different variations of the same thing where basically you can upload certain receipts based on what they're looking for, and then you get points or money back or those types of things, rebates, those types of offers. So those are all really good ways if you're buying things that are frequently available to cash in for on those different apps and websites. That can be really, really helpful.
Yeah, that and you also mentioned there's a few others. These look like savings apps.
Yes. So another thing that I like to do is, like I said, I like for that money to be kind of out of sight, so then I'm not tempted to spend it on something else. Because if I see it, I'm going to be oh yeah, I can use that.
Look,
for
I have
this,
money.
that, and the other. Yeah, literally. So the one that I use is called Capital, but it's Qapitol. And it is specifically for this one. It has a ton of different features where you can round up to save. You can set a savings goal and leave it. You can do like a payday goal. So there's lots of different ways on that app that you can basically pull money out of your account and stash it away in that app until a later time.
Yeah.
So again, it's one of those things where it's not like, I get that savings accounts are a thing, but like if I can see my savings account every time I log into my bank, I'm like, I have money to spend. I can go places. And then I'm like, oh no, I should be saving for Disney because that's really where I actually want to
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Well, we all have different levels of restraint when it comes to savings goals.
I have no restraint if I can see it.
I know the free spirits and the savers, right? We're all different people, so we all have different levels of saving ability.
Yes.
And I think even with spouses, they always say that one spouse is a saver and one is a spender, and I think that's fairly accurate.
Yeah. My husband and I rotate back and forth depending on what it is, but I feel like we do balance each other to an extent. But the thing that I like about that app is that it has so many different options. So I've said it before where every payday it'll pull out a certain amount and put it into that account. I've said it where weekly it'll do $1 or $2 to put into that account, little bits at a time, or it'll round up to the nearest dollar every purchase that I make with this account, lots of different options for that one. So I know from experience with that one. And the nice thing is I have set it up before where maybe I'm saving for a couple different things at a time. And I can set up different options for the different things that I want to save for and all that type of thing. A couple others that you can utilize in a similar way. Acorns and Chime also work that same way too. And I don't have personal experience with those, but from what I saw online, they do pretty much the same thing. Most of them do offer a free service. Some of those are going to try to have like an annual fee of some sort, so just kind of keep an eye out for that. depending on what you're trying to use it for, may or may not be cost effective for you if you're paying an annual fee to save your money.
Right. That doesn't compute. The math's not mathing with that either. So.
Literally, exactly.
Nope.
So, yeah. So I like those apps just, again, because I can kind of set it and forget about it and just let it go and let it do its thing. And just check on it every once in a while and see what money I've got in there. And I do that a lot, especially if I know I'm wanting to save up for like that initial deposit that I want to make on the package that I'm booking. I have that kind of saved frequently. So that way it's like once I pay off one deposit, I start saving for the next one for whenever that trip may be down the line. That way I have that kind of ready to go if and when I get the okay from the husband to to plan a trip.
I've just gotten to this point where I'm like, I'm just going to be in Disney from this day to this day. He's like, that's great. I'm like, see ya. My husband's
so
great.
supportive.
He's so supportive.
Elliot.
I really appreciate that because otherwise I wouldn't be able to go as much. But he knows I do this for work now. So
yeah. And my husband is also very supportive, but he also grounds me a little whenever I need it. So I appreciate him for
he's
that.
like, we have to feed our children, Jackie. You're like, but Chubby.
But Disney. And he's like, I know. However, I'm like, yeah, I know. That's okay.
Know.
That's okay. Okay, enough about credit cards. We'll get out of that conversation so Kate feels better.
Okay, we're fine. All right. This one I can talk about though. Magic bands.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
Magic bands is great. The Magic bands, I feel like we should. There's a couple different ways you can save Magic bands. One is probably the most obvious is purchase a package through Disney, and then you can save money getting them in advance, ordering them. Hopefully they make it to your house. Mine tend to get lost in the mail a lot. But usually they come to your house before your vacation and then you get to go. And it's really fun. They come in a cute little box and they have your names on them and they're all personalized and it's great. And you do save a significant amount of money by doing it that way. So don't just wait because you're like, I don't like these options. I'll see what there is at the park. You can do that, but you will lose out on that discount.
It's typically $10 per band.
Yes. So it's worthwhile because they're not cheap. No. Another option is you can use older versions from previous trips if you've gone before. They typically say that a battery lasts about a year, but I've noticed they last a couple years usually. Mine like from 5 years ago still work. So just be aware that eventually the battery does give up in those, but you should be fine to use those in most cases if you have one from a previous trip. You can also just opt out of Magic Band usage altogether to save money. You can use, like Disneyland, we use our phones a lot because you scan those for everything. And they have, what is it, Disney World, do they use their phones or they have a card? Do they get a ticket?
You can do a couple different things. You can use your phone and do your, Magic Mobile, I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
You can also link that to an Apple Watch. So if you're someone who already wears an Apple Watch, you can link it directly on there and that literally taps just like a Magic Band would. Or you can also get a card at guest services if you'd rather have a card.
Right.
So a couple different options.
I know I've seen the cards.
Yep. But do keep in mind that if you're using a phone or a watch, we have recently found out that with the new Tron ride, those do not work to operate the lockers in the queue.
Right.
So
they give you a
keep
little
that
card
in mind.
for that.
They do have cards there, yes, but don't be concerned if you walk up and it doesn't work. See the cast member in there; they'll take care of you. So I just want to mention that briefly.
Yeah. So you can use your old Magic Bands, you can opt out to not use one, or you can use a non-Magic Band Plus version, so like a 2.0. So those are the ones that don't light up, that you don't have to charge, which is actually a huge plus. I don't like charging them. But those ones are significantly cheaper. Sometimes you can get the solid color ones for $5 to $10, depending. I don't know what they are these days because I haven't looked recently, but they're significantly cheaper. Is the design ones are always a lot, and then the Magic Blend Plus ones are a lot, and then on top of that they have like special designer, I don't know, Lem could tell us all about all the Magic Bands. They have super fancy ones that are limited edition and things like that, and those ones are very spendy, like $40, $45 plus. Like they're
Yeah.
expensive. So if you're really like, my kids really want to be able to like do the thing and get on the ride, like Magic Band 2.0 might be the thing. Maybe you get one Magic Band Plus that your kids can all share to do some of the magical stuff or see it light up at night. But then they just have simple ones. Maybe your kids only get the Magic Bands ones that light up, and then you guys get ones that are 2.0. There's lots of different combinations there to save money, so you can still have the experience, but not have to spend as much. That makes sense.
Yeah, a couple things that people are mentioning in my chat. Tiffany asked about the Apple Watch. If you have to pull it up, as long as you have it saved in your wallet, it works just like you would tap to pay. Same process. So as long as you have that preloaded from you have to download it to your wallet on your phone to make sure that it shows on your watch. The other thing that Holly mentioned, she said, I learned the hard way, your Apple Watch will also not unlock the room door if you lock yourself out. So keep that in mind as well. I know your phone itself will unlock your door. So I guess just don't leave without your phone and you'll be covered no matter what.
Yeah, I would expect that too. I would say like, oh, well, it's synced to my phone and it should be fine.
Right.
So thanks for
That's
that. I don't
good
have
to
an
know.
Apple Watch because I don't like things on my wrists. So.
I like Magic Bands because I think they're fun. So I've never used my watch before. I've had it preloaded and ready to go as like a backup just in case. But I've never had to use it. So that's good to know. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and the phone unlock is finicky. I agree, Becca, that using it to unlock your door sometimes takes a couple times to try to do it. Sometimes I've had a time when I showed up at my door and it like just wouldn't work at all, and I had to call Disney and like they sent somebody over to make it work. So
Oh my gosh.
it doesn't work as much. Like it depends. And I always I'm kind of paranoid, so when I use old Magic Bands, I know they're linked to my account because I use them all the time, but my always standard is to know if it's active and gonna work in the parks is I take my one that I know does work and I go like lock myself out of my room and like use the Magic Band to try to get back in. Just make sure you have something with you that you can get back in. But that's if it unlocks your door, it's pretty much synced to your account and you shouldn't have any problems with it. So
yeah, Allie Beth says she still always goes to the front desk and gets a card for her room just in case. And that's not a bad idea. If we're talking backups to your system, that's not a bad idea. But also do keep in mind that Magic Bands are just finicky in general. They're really convenient to have, but I feel like at least one of our bands every trip has not like unlocked our door or not worked for payment or, this, that, and the other. We always seem to have at least one issue. So just keep in mind that Magic Bands can sometimes require a lot of patience.
Yes.
And they can be very convenient. I have very little issues actually scanning into the park and using them for like Genie Plus. It's all the other stuff that I tend to have more issues with. So
yeah, and Magic Band Plus is the only one that works at Disneyland. So if we're talking specifically Disneyland, you can't get the 2.0 one. It does not work at Disneyland, so don't bother. You have to get the Disney Plus ones that light up. And they also you can't pay with them like you can in Disney World. So they're pretty much just for attractions, getting on attractions with your Genie Plus, and for, I think, PhotoPass, you can scan it for that, and it's for lighting up with the show, but you can't pay anything with it yet. I asked them last time I was there, like, when are you guys going to get this? Because this is so frustrating. They're like, oh, maybe someday. It seemed like security. I'm like, when are we going to get the, like, zombie walk, like, security thing? Because I'm ready for that at Disneyland. Every time my bag, it takes forever to go through. Anyway, I'm getting on a tangent. The point is, the 2.0 ones don't work at Disneyland. You have to get the Plus ones. So,
The other thing, just really briefly about Magic Bands that I will mention is you talked about PhotoPass, but ride photos, if you use an older band, aren't always going to come through. So just be aware that may be a little finicky with those.
That's true.
I've had photos missing that I had to contact PhotoPass to find, and they were able to find them and retrieve them, which was lovely and wonderful, because they knew what time we had been on the ride and all that kind of stuff. But just keep that in mind as well, that the newer the Magic Band, the more likely you are to get all of your ride photos.
Yep, that's so true. Thank you for pointing that out.
Okay, side tangent about Magic Bands, done.
And scene. Another thing you can do to save money before you go, and we've talked about this one a lot. So we will just kind of briefly mention it. Is staying at a value resort. This is specifically Disney World, not Disneyland. Disneyland, you to stay off property. That'll save you a ton of money. But Disney World, staying at a value resort. I'm trying to remember the episode we did that, but we did an entire episode just about value resorts and how much they cost and comparing all of them. So if you're interested, that's in our Mom Street USA podcast or on Mom Street USA on YouTube. You can go check out that episode. But you can check for discounts on Disney's website is usually some of the best places for that. We've already talked about kind of where to check for discounts, like mousesavers.com is another place you can check for them. But I usually just go on Disney's website and browse, and you can see, sometimes I have to go specifically to the deals section before it will show me the deals. So go there first. It's a drop down. It'll show you deals. And for me, also as an annual pass holder, there's also special deals for that as well. So you can get, I think it's 30% off right now for most. I think it's up to 30% off for annual pass holders. But they also have a 25% off one that I think we talked about that might be the Disney Plus one.
Yeah, they're usually, they cycle through all sorts of those. Yeah. And I have found too on the main Disney World website, sometimes you can't find it in the top drop down, but if you scroll down on the page, they'll sometimes have a banner at the bottom that talks about some of the deals that you can click into. So you may have to search around a little bit or ask your travel agent to search around a little bit. But typically, if you have one of the options that they're running deals for, a Disney Visa, Disney Plus, Annual Pass, DVC, they're going to send you an email. So try to pay attention when those emails come through.
I don't get the emails.
Oh, no!
I've never, ever gotten an email for annual pass holder ever about anything. And I have all of my emails set up. And I've even, the only time I ever got it was the last time before I renewed. I called them and said, can you please get me on the email list for this? And they set it up. I got like 3 emails. And then once I renewed, it went away again. And I was like, I'm just never counted as a pass holder.
Oh, no.
But apparently I'm not the only one. There's a lot of pass holders that don't get the emails.
Okay.
So it's a huge glitch.
I will say I frequently get, for Disney Visa specifically, emails and also things in the mail for them.
That's nice.
Yeah, which is really nice. And like they also will send, like today in the mail, I just got a coupon for Shop Disney. So like different things like that again, have perks with that. But yeah, check your email. Hopefully cross your fingers that you get your emails and check your email.
Becca doesn't get them either. See, I tell you, it's a thing.
It must be an AP thing. I don't know. I'm not an AP, so I don't know.
Weird.
But I know that my Disney Visa that I love and that I keep gushing about, that I get emails from them. So
I hope so too. So another thing you can do to save money specifically on resorts, this is something we've also talked about in our deluxe resort episode, is renting DVC points. Now, DVC stands for Disney Vacation Club, and it's basically a timeshare is what it is. But you don't have to buy the timeshare to rent somebody else's points and use them to stay. So we talked about this a lot in that episode. I won't go over all of it, but it can save you up to 60% off of your trip. There's some downsides, as in you have to often pay in full before you go, so you can't pay like once you get there. And it's not really refundable like a regular Disney vacation if you want to cancel and stuff. It's kind of, think of it like a rental home that you're renting. Like, and there's a contract involved that you have to sign because you're renting it points from somebody else, essentially like renting their space, but it's not their home because it's a room at Disney. And from that point on, once you rent it, you get a confirmation number. You can link it to your account. You can make all of your plans just like you normally would, but you can stay in a villa, which often has like a kitchenette or a full kitchen for way less at the deluxe resorts. And that means you also get like extra hours at night at Magic Kingdom and Epcot. It's you can stay in Disneyland at the Grand Californian. You can stay at Aulani in Hawaii. Like renting DVC points, I've done it for years with my family. We get the like two bedroom. It's like 1,700 square feet. They're huge, like massive. And we have 3 rooms, and we'll have like 3 subsets of our family staying in each of the rooms.
Yeah.
And we just pool our money together, and then we can stay there. So we've stayed in some amazing, beautiful resorts, but saved hundreds, if not thousands of dollars doing so by renting DVC. So I will say I'm an affiliate now with DVC Rental Store. just as a disclaimer, but I have used them for years. There is a link in my bio for that if you're ever interested, and you can browse even confirmed reservations that other people have made. And they're specific dates, so you can't change the dates, but you can save even more because they're kind of like ones they're trying to offload. So that's a really great way to save money on deluxe resorts.
Yeah, and that's super helpful, especially if you're traveling with a larger party or multiple families, or your family is large enough that you don't necessarily fit in a standard size room.
Yeah.
That can be super, super helpful to save money on a room that you're already going to have to buy because you just need it for your trip.
Right. Like my family of five, like I know there's some places that have sleep five on Disney property, but I love those villas for a family of five. They're like the perfect size. And we have a little kitchenette so we can cook some food if we need to. And I just love them. I can't say enough about how much I love the idea that I can rent points and not have to buy it, because I'm not buying DVC anytime soon. Just saying. It's just not happening. So.
Yeah, absolutely super helpful for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, that's DVC. And I just have a random note. I threw this random note in there.
I saw it. I was like, okay, that works.
I should have put it in somewhere else. I don't know. I tucked in this note to Jed. I was like, I didn't look at it before though. So I just wanted to mention there's something else you can buy in advance if we're thinking in advance, is ponchos, because I feel like especially for Florida, it's probably going to rain during your trip. You're probably going to need a poncho. And I just buy those en masse on Amazon, like 20 of them, and because we just go through them so much. So and then you can throw them away if they're gross and not have sticky ponchos.
And you don't want to buy them in the parks because they're crazy expensive. No. And even like if you're like, oh, I'm going to Walmart or Target while I'm down there in an Uber or a rental car, they're still crazy expensive at those stores too. So like buying them before you go is massively helpful for sure.
Yeah. Sorry, that was in a weird place, Jackie.
No, you're good. But I'm just thinking, Kate, though, that actually segues into another section that we have that probably should have been with that poncho section, and that is talking about purchasing toys ahead. So can we jump down to that section?
Yeah, let's do that.
Quick? Okay. So a lot of you, especially on Discord, talked about buying things for your kids ahead of time and bringing them with you, which is a perfect idea because kids, there's so much at Disney for them to want that it's a lot easier to say, look, you already have it. So purchasing little toys ahead of time or new toys that will keep them occupied. We've talked about keeping kids occupied on the plane, like our second episode that we ever did. So buying little toys ahead from the dollar store. If you're fortunate enough to have a Disney outlet or if you're good at perusing Disney clearance on Shop Disney, those can also both be really great places to find things. Especially like the little Nuimo plushies. I get my kids clothes for theirs at our outlet store, and they're like $2 for a set of clothes when normally that set is like $20 in the parks. So great. Massive savings there. The other thing is if you've got a Burlington or a TJ Maxx, they will often get Disney merchandise. It's very random at times and it varies, but they do get Disney merchandise, so you can kind of look at those places as well. They get a lot of ears. These ears I bought at Burlington for $5.
Wow, that's great.
Mine
were
exactly.
Not $5.
And they're are those the comfort ear ones?
No, they're definitely not comfortable. I've been shifting them this whole episode. They're not comfortable.
So there's
just the regular ones.
Okay, there's a pair of comfort ears that look in a similar color scheme to those that I also bought at Burlington for $6. So like Burlington is my go-to place.
We don't have that here, so I'm sad. I'm like, it's fine.
If you remember the 50th ears, the gold sparkly ears with the blue bow that came out like a year ago, I saw those literally today at my Burlington for $7. So
I bet we'll see even more because they're trying to offload all that 50th merch.
Right, exactly. But ears, stuffies, the orange bird stuffies that they had that were scented, I saw those at my Burlington. Nuimo stuff, like I said, at the outlets. Pins, that's a really great place. A lot of people in our Discord were talking about buying pins at on clearance or at the outlets and then taking them as traders. If you're someone who likes doing pin trading, that's a really great place to do it as well. So all of these places you can find discounted Disney specific merch. But then, I mean, you can find all sorts of Disney related stuff at Target and Walmart and the dollar stores, all sorts of places.
Yeah, I would also mention that with the pins, there's a lot of fake pins on eBay. So you have to really be careful what you buy because a lot of them are not Disney official pins, and that's such a bummer to trade that with somebody and then give them a kind of a knockoff. So just be
Yeah.
careful what you're buying on eBay.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make sure that you're getting the good stuff. You say you don't have that stuff in Minnesota. Well, I'm in Ohio and we get a ton of ears. So check your Burlington. And they also rotate through my store where they are. Sometimes I find them on this section. Sometimes I find them in that section. So I've gotten really good at my Burlington of like doing a sweep of the whole store and going by every location that I know that they've been found. I literally found Haunted Mansion wishables in the animal section in the dog toys one time. So like,
That's so funny.
it
In
was
the
like
dog. I remember that.
It was a little Ezra wishable, and it was hanging with the dog toys. I was like, "Aw,
It's probably not good for the
Poor-
dogs. Like it's not
I
really a
know.
dog toy.
no, it's not." But
doggies.
yeah, so you never know what you may find hidden away in nooks and crannies. But I've also heard of people finding like dress shop dresses, like the really nice fancy ones that they sell at Disney at Burlington.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of time stuff. Yes, Tiffany, it is the one near the Dayton Mall. So I'm in the Dayton, Ohio area if anyone. But yes, the one near the Dayton Mall is the one that I typically go to, and they do get some good stuff, Tiffany. So if you're coming down this way,
If you're
that's a
headed to
good one to
Ohio,
do.
kids,
I
here's
know.
where you
They
get your
didn't
Disney
have-
merch.
they only had today when I went. They only had two different sets of ears, so it wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't a good day today.
I was trying to think of like places I find here in the Pacific Northwest for it, and it's if besides Target, I would say in Dollar Tree, there's really not that many places that have it that I have seen. Maybe I mean TJ Maxx or Home Goods sometimes have a few things.
Yeah.
So Marshalls,
And that can be
those
hit
kinds
or
of
miss,
places.
especially
Yeah.
if you're looking for Disney parks specific. You're not
Yeah.
always going to find that. You will at these locations, though, find a ton of Disney merchandise and Disney
Yeah.
stuff. It
If you just want
depends
like
on what you're
Disney
looking for.
clothes or toys or accessories, those are great
Right.
places for that to find them way cheaper than you will in the parks. Way cheaper.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. Other things to purchase ahead, and we've talked a little bit about some of this stuff. Glow sticks, that is one of my major hacks. I will order a big tube of glow sticks off of Amazon, and then we take just a handful of them and throw them in our park bag for the day. And then once it gets dark out, the kids have so much fun. Necklaces, bracelets, they link them together, they hang them on our stroller, all of that kind of stuff. So glow sticks can be enough to maybe deter your kid from wanting one of the crazy light up wands that they have once it gets dark outside.
Yeah, Allie's saying they're perfect for safety too, and they are, yes, for sure. And somebody in our Mom Street community, and I'm sorry I didn't write down who, mentioned that they were getting some for their kiddo to hand out to other kids as like a gift, which is like
Yes.
such a sweet
It might
idea.
have been Katie that said that, but yeah,
Maybe
I
Katie.
saw
Oh
that
my
too,
gosh,
and I
I
was
love
like, "That's so sweet."
Like even if you only brought like 5 extra, because you might not want to carry them all around all day, but just brought a
Yeah.
few extra, and that they could just kind of like gift them to other children.
Yeah.
Like how sweet is that? I love
Oh,
that.
it was our friend Erica. Erica said her kiddo
Erica.
did that this year when they last went. That's so sweet. I love that idea, and I am 100% stealing that and doing
Yep.
that next trip.
Me
Because like I
too.
said, we buy the
And
giant
not
things.
me, my kids. I'll let my kids do it. I think I'd be creepy if I did it. I don't want to be creepy.
You have a very approachable demeanor, so I think it
I
would
know.
be okay.
I'm a mom, but it's still,
yeah.
I think it'd be weird. So I'd give
Right,
it to the
but
moms,
yes.
not to the children. Anyway,
Yes.
moving on.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So glow sticks. Good plans. Also autograph books, which is a really great idea. I know I was just talking to our friend Victoria, and she found this whole really great Disneyland like photo album too that she found. at like a Burlington or a TJ Maxx. But yeah, autograph books are a really great idea. Order them online, order them from the website when they're on sale. That way you've got them ready to go for sure.
Yeah, and you could even make it like if you're having fun preparing for your trip with your kids, it would be even fun activity to kind of like decorate your autograph book if you wanted. You can make your own little kind of craft project out of it, and so they can make it themselves. So it's another little souvenir that they have that they can get excited about the trip while they're while you're planning and preparing to go. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Another really good thing is bubble wands. And it's funny, Allie just mentioned she's still on a bubble wand hunt. I know she had and I had been talking about her looking for discounted bubble wands. The Disney bubble wands don't go on discount very often. Even at my outlet store, they're still full price, which is really frustrating when I'm
it's
in
like
a
$32, something like that. It's expensive.
Anywhere from $26.99 and up, I think.
Yeah.
But it's really frustrating when I take my kids to the outlet and they're used to like the lower prices and they want the bubble wand. And I'm like, absolutely not. It's so expensive. We are not paying that for those.
I did see discounted, like they were trying to get rid of them, was those Groot ones from Epcot. And they were like on clearance at the Disney parks. I got it for like $13 at Disney.
I remember you finding that. That's so funny.
And my kids don't even know that it blows bubbles. I might not have told them. They just play music. So I was like, like maybe we'll try it out someday. But I'm like, they're happy that it plays music and they dance to it. I'm like, great.
Perfect. Oh yeah, they're super limited on Shop Disney. Yeah, occasionally they'll be included in Shop Disney's deals and discounts and clearance and things. But they're really, really hard to find at discount. We have one that has been purchased at Disney because my father-in-law got conned into it by my daughter and he bought her a Little Mermaid one.
This is the way. This is grandparents. This is what they do. This is their role at Disney is to buy the things we will always say no to.
Yep. So
that's what they do.
Stock up on whatever bubble wand you can convince your kids is super cool. I know they've got bubble wands that look identical to the ones at Disney, just maybe not Disney characters at Target and Walmart and dollar stores and those types of things. Definitely test them before you take them because we've bought ones like cheap ones at Target before that ended up like not really working. And we didn't care because we only spent like $5 on it and it wasn't a big deal. But like if you get all the way to Disney and then have one that doesn't work, that will be extra frustrating. So like,
oh man, yeah. No thanks.
Double check that it works. And also bring your own spare batteries. Which I think was another suggestion that we had on our Discord. Batteries are ridiculously expensive regardless. Like, I feel like batteries are just crazy expensive.
Really
And then
expensive.
to have to buy them at Disney.
It's not a win financially. Yeah. No.
Yeah. The other thing is if you're looking at
kids,
bubble wands.
This is your souvenir. Right. Some batteries.
Woohoo!
Have fun.
Or maybe not. You can't have them. You can just look at them. Look at them. Yes, Allie Beth, that's exactly what I was going to say. She said, dear parents, they are refillable. Just buy more bubbles. If you're able to buy a couple little spare things of bubbles, stick them in a Ziploc bag and throw them in your suitcase. That way, if your kids run out, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg trying to buy more bubbles.
Yeah, Katie Moon says also bring a screwdriver. It says something that you can do to unscrew the back of that because that's a thing. Those little multi-tools.
My guess is that in the merchandise stores, there's probably a cast member, if they're not crazy busy, that has one that you could, in a pinch, could probably borrow if you needed to replace some batteries. The other thing is if you buy one and the batteries die like immediately, go talk to a cast member. They do last quite a while, but if your kiddo is one of those kiddos that's going to want to run it 24/7, chances are good you may run out of batteries before the end of your trip. So don't take the chance of needing to buy Disney batteries.
Yeah, and the same thing as well as like bubble wands and stuff. I know that they have fans and spray fans and things like that. Those are also things I always get on Amazon before we go. I have a couple of them in my Amazon storefront in my link in bio that I recommend. My favorite one is one that looks like a little bear. It unfolds and it has 2 speed settings, but it's also a flashlight, but it's also charges your phone. And it's like adorable. It's like $14 and my kids love it. They fight over it. It's great.
Yes.
So
I was influenced, and I also bought this fan. And my kids also loved it and also fought over it. The only issue that I had was the flashlight kept turning on in my backpack. And I would like pull it out, and I was like, oh, the flashlight's on. Okay. But
I think I put a little piece of tape over it in my daughter's bag for that reason, to keep it from getting bumped. But
but it is a very nice fan that I just keep in my bag at all times. And it helps me do my makeup when I need my setting spray to dry.
I never even thought of using it for that. Now I'm going to use it for that.
My Siri is talking to me. Sorry.
Siri says it's time for Disney.
I know, right? Okay, I'm down. Let's do it. Okay, so I think now we've hit everything before your trip.
Yes.
Let's talk about a couple things to do during your trip.
Yeah, so one that I put on here was BYOS, bring your own stroller, which honestly, I actually do kind of prefer renting myself, just because it's just easier to try, like, carrying it through all the security and all the things. But especially when you have little kids, and you're probably going to need your stroller in the airport anyway, just to get them move them around and carry all the car seats or whatever you got. It does significantly save money to then not have to rent a stroller when you get there. And you also get the benefit of it being your stroller that your kids are used to and all of those things. So we did take our stroller a couple times to Disney. But then we started renting after that, because I was like, my kids got older, and I was like, I don't want the hassle. I don't need it in the airport. So, really judge based on yourself and your stroller. We do recommend the inline ones versus the side-by-sides in general, because the side-by-sides are really hard to maneuver. Sometimes you have to close those up where you don't have to with the inline strollers. So that's usually what we recommend for Disney. So if your stroller is not an inline stroller, maybe consider renting instead. But if you want to save money, bring your own stroller.
Yeah. Tran says that they prefer separate strollers. The double stroller gives them anxiety, which I get. Like, it's a lot. Even the inline ones to maneuver through, if you're going through super big crowds, it can definitely be a lot. So definitely keep that in mind. And Erin says, yes, stroller for kids of all ages. So yes, if you think your kid needs a stroller, take a stroller for them. You know your kid the best. So
yeah, no, we don't, we're not going to advocate for a certain age to have strollers or not. Like, I just know when my kids got older, they needed it less in, like, the airport settings and things like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Strollers are awesome merch haulers.
That's yes,
true.
They are. Just be careful what you leave in your stroller, because people will steal things out of strollers. So they will. We inadvertently left a giant Lego set in ours one time, and when I got back to the stroller and realized it was there because it got purchased by a grandparent, I was like, "Oh my gosh, we left this in the stroller! Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
like,
what happened?
Don't do that."
Yeah. Tiffany said, I rented a stroller 2 times and found a City Mini on Marketplace for $100 and definitely got our money's worth. So that's a good way to do it too. If you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to take your own stroller, but you know you're going to need a stroller, finding one on Facebook Marketplace could be a good way to do it as well. You're great for saving a spot for fireworks too. That is true. We also utilize our stroller for our kids to be able to see during fireworks, because they're still short enough that if they stand on the seat with us, like, right next to them,
holding them,
yeah, exactly. They are still shorter than most of the people around us, so it's not like they're blocking anyone's view, and they can see really well. So we did that for Enchantment on our last trip, and it was very, very helpful. We also did it for some of the stage shows, so that way they could see better.
Allie said nothing gave me more anxiety than Will's wife leaving her Club 33 ears on the park stroller. Like, no, somebody's going to snatch those. Don't do it, friends. Don't leave your stuff in your stroller. That's a way to lose money on your trip, is by leaving expensive things in your stroller. Just don't do it.
Yeah, we found that out with my kid's lightsaber that got stolen in Toy Story Land, because we left our stroller in the stroller parking. And typically we had only been leaving, like, spare sets of clothes, like stuff that didn't matter. That's usually what we'll leave in our stroller, and all the valuables go with us. But lightsabers, like, they're hard. You can't carry them with you. So we kind of tucked it away. Well, it went missing. So
That's
it was,
so sad.
but
you can only hope that it was okay. Like somebody not paying attention to their kid. But even then you would see like, where did you get that lightsaber from? Like, I'm like,
Right. Right. And it's hard in stroller
bummer.
parking. And that was something that I kind of thought about, like, well, maybe a kid picked it up and said, look, mommy, look how cool. And then the parent didn't know where it came from. And we didn't think to necessarily look around until later. So it was a whole thing. But we had, I had a lovely pocket fam friend who sent me some money to get them a new one. So it all ended up okay. But it was, yes, you want to keep track of your, it is. And like we said, it may not have been malicious, but either way it ended up missing and we had to make it right. So yeah, we made it right and it was all okay in the end, but
I'm
still.
glad all's well in well, but still, don't leave things in your strollers, friends.
Long story short, be careful about what you leave in your stroller. Okay, another option for during your trip to save a little bit of money is to plan for a day not in the parks. That way you're not paying for a park ticket. We almost always do this. And we typically will do a 3 or a 4-day to 5-day trip and plan at least one day as a break in between.
Yeah, you need it anyway in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. You need some pool time. You need time to just wander around the resorts, do resort hopping. I think there were tons of options on our Discord. People talked about doing like scavenger hunts for hidden Mickeys. You can take the boats. Our whole last episode, we talked about a ton of things that you can do outside of the parks. So if you do have an off day and you're looking for something to do, we gave a ton of options in the episode just from last week. But there's tons of things that you can do at Disney and not spend money to go into the parks.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, that was a great episode. We had so many ideas for your family and from a full range of things that were free to things that were more expensive, but maybe even once in a lifetime opportunities there. Yeah, that was really fun to kind of research all of those.
Yeah.
One thing that I do recommend, unless it's a once in a lifetime Disney trip for you, I think that you can skip the Memory Maker pass for Photo Pass, and this is specifically at Disney World, because if you're at Disneyland and you get Genie Plus, you get Photo Pass included, which is great. And I wish they had that at Disney World.
They do now at Disney World. You get your ride photos.
The ride photos,
so it's
but
not
all
your
of photos.
Yes.
Yeah, but
so a little bit
Disneyland,
different, but
it's all of them.
Yeah. So at Disney World, you do get, if you purchase Genie Plus, you get ride photos now included. So
yeah,
keep that in mind as you're considering.
So then the Memory Maker Pass pays for those ones that the photographers who are standing around to take your picture as your family. And it also includes kind of those like magic shots and things like that. And I do like them. They're a lot of fun. You can get some really great family photos that way. And if you don't have anybody else to take your picture and you want to be in the photo, then yeah, I have gotten it several times. It's a lot though. It's cheaper if you buy it before you go. It's more expensive if you buy it while you're there. So buy it in advance if you're going to get it. But I think that everybody has cameras these days. You probably can figure out a way to take photos without it if you're really needing to save the money.
Yeah. And also consider that at Disney World, they do have daily PhotoPass packages that you can get now too. So if you don't want to buy something for your whole trip, but hey, we're going to get family photos at the castle with the day that we're at Magic Kingdom. Make the most out of that and buy just the 1-day pass.
Yeah.
The full trip pass, if you buy it at within, I think it's 2 days of your trip is $199. If you buy it before, it's $169. And I believe the daily pass is $69.99, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's just
not
keep
cheap.
that in mind. Yeah. Yeah.
But
and especially if you're doing let's say you're doing 5 park days, but okay, these 2 days our whole family is together. We've got matching outfits, or we've got this special thing going on, or we've got that type of thing. Then just buy the daily pass for those 2 days. It'll still save you a little bit of money. So definitely consider those options.
Yeah. And it's tough because those photos are really important, and I think those are the things we hang on our walls at home and stuff like that. They're the memories. But you can also get them. You can always ask somebody to take your photo. I always go for the moms. It's there's a mom. She's probably not going to take off my phone. And people ask me a lot because I'm just traveling when I'm by myself. I know they ask Kirk too. Anybody who's a solo traveler tends to get asked to take photos a lot.
Yeah. So, and 9 times out of 10, the PhotoPass photographer will use your camera.
Yeah, they will now.
On occasion, they won't. Yeah, I think during the
They didn't
pandemic,
during
it was a lot
COVID
of
times.
not,
Yeah.
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 But now
But
they will. I haven't had, since that kind of eased up a little bit, I haven't had one ever say no. Amanda is mentioning on here that the military discount, there's a military discount for Memory Maker. So the military Memory Maker is just $99. So if
that's
you're
great.
someone who that qualifies for, keep that in mind. And then Tiffany's asking about the Memory Maker share groups. That is, I think, a controversial topic with a lot of people. They can go very well and be perfectly fine, or they could go terribly wrong. So I think it just depends on if you're willing to take that risk and willing to spend your money there. So if you don't know what that is, there are groups that exist out in the world on social media that will, if their trips are close together, they will share the cost of Memory Maker. I don't recommend
I
it
don't think it's
personally
Disney
because
sanctioned. Yeah.
I don't believe it is either, and I don't think it's I don't think it's a sure way to spend your money if you're looking at saving money,
Yeah.
because
I
it
would share
could
with a
get,
family member. Like
yes,
if I'm traveling with
absolutely.
my family, I think that's good,
Yep.
or
Or
a
I've
group of
done it
friends
with
that I'm
like,
actively traveling with.
yes, I say I've done
I
it with
think that's
a
great.
friend who our trips overlapped by a day, but we still had kind of, we overlapped in the middle, but ours started first and then hers ended after ours. We've done it that way before. I would not recommend sharing with anybody that you don't personally know and aren't personally traveling with.
Yeah. Remember, strangers on the internet, sharing money with them. I don't know. So just be cautious.
Yes.
We don't want you to lose money while you're trying to save
Right.
money. That's all.
Right.
So
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So let's talk about a couple other things that you can bring with you to help save money while you're there. Water bottles. It sounds so simple, but it can be massively effective in saving you money if you just bring a refillable water bottle and utilize
Yeah.
that the whole trip. There are always going to be places somewhere in the parks that you can refill or ask for cups of water to dump into your water bottle. So definitely bringing your own water bottle, and also being aware that if you're planning on carrying your water bottle in a backpack, make sure it fits in the backpack that you're bringing.
Yes.
I don't know why that has been like, I feel like all over
So true.
my For You page
Like,
on
look at this.
TikTok, that if you're taking a Loungefly, you want to make sure that your water bottle will fit inside of that Loungefly. Or a
Like,
smaller backpack of any way, shape, or form, or a fanny pack, whatever you're doing. Just make sure you have a plan for your water bottle. Just
yeah, like
throwing that out
I
there.
love the size of this water bottle, but I don't ever carry it into the parks. I carry it with me on the airplane and stuff because I need to drink a lot
Yeah.
of water, but I have a smaller water bottle specifically for all my lounge flies because I just I can't fit it in there. And that one even is a little bit of a stretch, but
Yeah.
then you can get your Mom Street sticker to put on your water bottle like so. No. DisneyCicerone.com, just say.
But yes, and also something else we'll do especially if we have a stroller, we will bring a bigger water bottle that my husband has, it's basically like a Hydro Flask one, but a knockoff brand,
Yeah.
and it's a massive water bottle. So we fill that with ice and cold water, and we keep it in the bottom of our stroller. That way, if we're in a pinch and we can't get to a refill station, then we can top off our kids' water bottles.
Yeah.
That way they're good to go, or our own, honestly, but typically it ends up being the kids, just because we're always more concerned about them. But if you
Yeah.
have a stroller, utilizing a bigger water bottle in the bottom of the stroller can be really helpful as well.
Yeah, Allie said hook it to a carabiner and then clip it to my lounge fly. I would, but it's awkward. I feel like I'd bang
Yeah.
into everybody with it. So
Right.
that I would hurt somebody. Like I don't want to hurt anybody.
Or hurt yourself, like you turn
Hurt
around and
myself.
like whacks you in the leg.
I would. I'd like take it off
Bruises.
and I'd like take out Kirk while I'm taking my bag off. Like I could see that happening.
It's funny. I was literally just thinking
The
about this
collapsible one.
because I think my next trip is possibly going to be without my kids, which makes me sad, but like it'll be okay. But I was
Yeah.
thinking about the fact that like I've never for the last 4 trips I've taken had to consider what bag I'm taking and what water bottle I'm taking, and will my water bottle fit in my bag, because we've always just typically leave them on the strollers because we don't have to
Yep.
carry it with us.
I know. I miss water bottle stroller life Those were the days. You could just organize. I think what we did one time too with our strollers, we had like a shoe organizer, and we zip tied it to to on the top and the bottom to part of the
Yeah.
stroller, and then everybody had their own little like pouch for their stuff, and we did that. And that was actually a really nice way to keep our water bottles
Yeah.
organized. So otherwise, it was like a free
Genius.
for all with like all in the same pocket.
Right.
So
Yeah, for sure.
that really helped
Yeah.
a lot to keep us organized.
Yeah, Aaron says we just got 4 new Awala bottles today for our trip in just over a week. Yeah, I've heard from, I don't remember who it was in Pocket Fam that was telling me that there are certain sizes of those Awala bottles, like the one that Kirk just got, if you're familiar with that style, that do fit in Loungeflies. So measure the bottle, measure the Loungefly, ask on the Discord if you're not a member of our Discord. Link in bio, super, super helpful if you're looking for recommendations of those types of things. But yes, Amanda, you feel me. She said that's the struggle right now. I've always had a stroller, but now I'm going by myself. Where do I put it?
Yep.
Yep.
Put in my lounge fly. But
Yep.
man, it's tough too when you have sweaters or coats or stuff too to carry when on those cooler months. It's tough to jam everything in that lounge fly. I will say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
My poor
Got to
lounge
pack
flies.
strategically. We might need to do an entire episode on how to pack
Parking.
strategically our park bags. We've touched
Yeah,
on it a
park
little
bags,
bit.
yeah.
We may need
Yeah,
to get
we
a little bit
yeah.
more in depth on that.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
so we have a few more things. Oh, did you have a
No, I was just to say, Allie Beth just popped over here also and said Amazon has larger collapsible water bottles that you can hook onto your bag. I have seen
Yeah,
those
I think
before
that's what
where
she
they
was
kind
talking about, and not my giant one. So I misunderstood her. But
of
now I
good.
kind of want to hook it on my bag and see if
Just
I
to
can
see. We'll have to
to see how
warn Kirk
awkward it
ahead of
is.
time. Don't stand within an arm's reach, lounge fly reach radius.
No, don't
So
warn
that
him
Kate
ahead of
doesn't
time.
knock you out.
What's the fun in that? We just gotta
Too
take
funny.
him out. It'll be great.
Yeah.
No, I
Oh
would
my
never
goodness.
actually
Okay.
do that. Just to be clear.
No, never, never. So we talked about water bottles. Let's talk about meals. Lots of ways with meals that you can save some money. So the first one is skipping table service. If you're not looking to explore the cuisine of all of the table service options, skipping those can be a really big money saver because those table service restaurants are always more expensive than your quick service restaurants.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, I feel like table service, especially if you've got kiddos with you, they take a lot of time and a lot of money. So if you're interested in really getting to see as much as possible in your day, if you are looking to save money, just skip the table service ones, or maybe
Yeah.
splurge on one in your trip
Yeah.
and say like, we're going to do one really nice big meal. The rest we're just going to do quick service. And I've done this so much with my family, and my husband's always like, he's a big foodie, and even he's like, well, we don't need to eat at them as long as we find some good quick service ones. Like when
Yeah.
we're with the kids, he's like, let's not waste money paying, $40 for the kids to eat something when they only eat like a handful of stuff on their plate. It's just not a
Right.
good value for our family. So it makes more sense if we're traveling with our kids that we just do quick service or eat snacks, and that is plenty of food, and
Right.
it's reasonable for our budget. So
Right. And especially like at Disney, as long as they're fed and eating something of substance, doesn't really matter where it came from or if you sat down and ate it or sat in a stroller or sat on the hub grass or wherever
Yeah.
you are. It's
Yeah,
still food.
I do like to, when I do the table service ones, I actually love my table service meals in the middle of the day when I do plan it, because it's like by 11:30 my kids are usually ready for like air conditioning and a break. So we tend to do like a lunch one where we can sit down in the AC, but you can also do that with quick service. You can find quick service places that are inside that are in the AC. It's a little bit,
Yeah.
it's way harder at Disneyland than it is at Disney World. Disney World has a lot more places like that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other things when it comes to that is one that a lot of people recommend and recommended in our Discord is eating kids meals and ordering kids meals. If you just need a little bit of something, or you're not someone who eats a ton or doesn't want to eat a ton if it's super hot outside, ordering a kids meal is perfect for that. A lot of the times
Yeah.
it's similar or the same options that they have on the full menu, just a smaller portion. which is a really great option to have because it's going to cost you less money and you're not going to waste the food that you probably wouldn't have eaten anyway.
Yeah, and they have a fair amount of food in them too. Like my kids usually don't even necessarily finish all of it, except for maybe like my older kids might get close to finishing everything in a kid's meal. But especially if you're out in in the heat, if it's hot outside, you might not feel like eating that much anyway. So,
Yeah.
and in that same vein, splitting meals as with your kids or with another adult that you're traveling with can save so much money. I know that favorite for me and Elliot when we go to Disneyland, we often get the fried chicken meal at the Plaza Inn. And that is so big that you really can split it from two. We get the chicken and then we get like a dessert with it, and then we split both of them. And there's like three big pieces of chicken. It's a lot of food, and we feel pretty satisfied by the end of it. But then we save so much money because we're only getting one. And there's a lot of things at Disney that are big portions that you can split like that.
Yeah. Do keep in mind, though, that at table service, I know we were mostly talking about quick service, but table service restaurants, they're not going to let you do that most of the time.
Yeah.
It just
Plaza
depends
Inn's
on...
different at Disneyland than Disney
Yes.
World. So it's
Yes.
you can do that at Plaza Inn and Disneyland, but not, yeah.
Right. So it just depends on where you're going. But a lot of those table services are not going to let you split. So if you're looking to split, I would opt for a quick service option that you can order from to be able to do that.
But there are some places that will let you split. Like we went to the Brown Derby and we split an appetizer and then a Cobb salad and a dessert, and they were fine with that. So there are table service, unless it's like a price fixed menu. Usually you can have whatever it is you want on the menu. If you just want to go there and have dessert, you can. If you just want the atmosphere of eating there, but you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on a full meal, you can just get appetizer or something small and just get to enjoy the atmosphere of it, but not have a really big. But again, if it's a price fixed menu, you're going to pay that price no matter what. So that's where that you can't split in that. So
yes. So just keep that in mind. Do a little bit of research and maybe do some Googling about where you want to go to see what options they let you do.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you want to talk about popcorn buckets?
Yeah. Sorry, I was like, I lost where we were for a minute. So we've talked about popcorn buckets previously on episodes. They are a fantastic way to keep snacks with you and not spend a ton. So I grabbed mine. I was proud of myself today. I grabbed my fancy little
look at
Skyliner. Isn't it so cute? Popcorn bucket. So they're wonderful. You I was like, what is she doing? There's Figgy. So if you purchase a popcorn bucket early on in your trip, then after that, the refills are only $2.50. So that is a fantastic way to cheaply have a snack with you at all times. I have given the hack before where we kind of stock up ahead of time on the popcorn buckets. That way our bucket is full and we have an extra kind of stashed in the bottom of our stroller, if you've got a stroller, or in a bag or whatever type of thing as well. Also having those for like the end of the night when a lot of stuff is closed, but maybe your kids need just a little bit of an extra snack before they go to sleep. Having some popcorn in the room is never a bad idea.
I have questions over here. First of all, I have to ask, Allie Beth asks, how does one keep Figgy clean? I keep him clean by hanging him in my closet and not letting my kids touch him. But that's a great question because he's got a lot of crevices. And I would say maybe a toothbrush, some toothpicks. Another question was sorry, I couldn't not answer that one.
I love it.
Madeline is asking, do we do Disney planning? And I don't because I am a full-time creator and author, but my good friend here, Jackie, is a travel consultant, not a travel agent, but a travel consultant. I don't know if you want to tell them about what you do.
Yeah, so I don't book vacations, but if you have booked, I offer services to help plan itineraries, to help give like Genie Plus tutorials and how to. I answer just questions in general. So if you've got questions, need help, want help, send me a message. You can find me at Wishes Mama is my personal account. You can send me a message on TikTok or Instagram under that name, and I am more than happy to help you out. So again, I don't book. I'm not a travel agent, but I have a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to Disney World planning.
Yeah, she's fantastic, and she's really good at Genie Plus. If you ever have questions about Genie Plus, you can ask her for that. But yeah, Madeline, you can get in contact with her either through the Mom Street account too, if you want to
Yep.
follow that account, and then later give her a message there.
Yes.
She can respond there. So
Yes, if you
she
can't
is a
find me there,
magician.
just
I
find
agree.
me here.
She's absolutely yeah.
I have a lot of patience. I think Kirk said it best when he was talking about it on his stream yesterday, is that I just have a lot of patience to do it, and I enjoy doing it, and it's fun for me. So it works.
Yes. Kirk says I can attest to Jackie being the ultimate Genie Plus guru, and I agree. 100%.
There's very little that I haven't come across when it comes to questions about that. So
That's so
I'm
true.
happy to help if you need it.
All right.
But
so
yes, let's say popcorn buckets.
Popcorn
Wonderful, wonderful way to save. And they're a fun little like take-home souvenir. Like you said, I don't let my kids play with mine because I want it to stay nice. So that way, if I so choose to utilize it again, then they will not have gotten. I love that feature on the Figgy popcorn bucket, but the slow open was like perfect.
I'm sorry, I'm having too much fun. I shouldn't have got him down from the wall because now I can't. It's fine.
Anyways, yes, oh, Tiffany, thank you. Tiffany said that I helped her and I am amazing. I appreciate you, Tiffany. Thank you. So yes, popcorn buckets. Also, again, snacks that you can share, always a good plan.
Kirk says you can also save money by buying a popcorn bucket online for cheap. So that's a fun hack there. Thanks, Kirk, for sharing
and
that.
occasionally you can find them at like thrift stores, especially if you're closer down to like the Disney area. Just make sure you sanitize them before you use them. And keep in mind that it's not always a guarantee that you can use old Disney popcorn buckets for refills. 9.5 times out of 10, the cast member's not going to have an issue with it. But it's not always a guarantee, so just keep in mind with that. Abby says, I've seen people put chicken nuggets and fries in their popcorn buckets. I have seen that too. If people don't finish their meal before they go to get on like a transportation method, they'll put it in their popcorn bucket because then it's got a lid on it, and then they have it.
Yeah, sure.
It works.
I mean, you just do what you got to do when you're traveling, you know? You just make it happen.
Yeah, it's hilarious but clever. Don't lose your lid or you dump your popcorn. Very, very true. That's why I like this Skyliner one, because it's attached, so that's always helpful. Kim says you can bring the popcorn buckets on Disney Cruise for cheap refills. So apparently the cruise lines do
I'm going on a
popcorn.
cruise this year, so.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting. I might have to get a non-figgy popcorn. I can't take this.
You don't want to
imagine?
take Figgy. I just imagine you then also. I was gonna say, I then imagine like the Chronicles of Figgy, like on the boat and at
like in the Eiffel
Disneyland
Tower.
Terrace. And
Like,
now you need
Flat
like
Stanley,
like,
but pig,
I was
piggy
gonna say you
version.
need like a flat Figgy now because you're not
I
gonna take
do.
the actual bucket with you. You need a
I
little
know.
flat Figgy to take with
It's
you.
going to be the thing now. It has to be. Like Figgy's travels around the world.
That's
do
perfect for your long form YouTube, right
I
there.
know.
Done.
It's going to be great. And Figgy was there too.
Oh my gosh. Yes, bring the smaller ones. Exactly. Smaller popcorn buckets. And also consider that you have to travel with it in a suitcase. So like Figgy is not an ideal traveling companion.
No.
But something a little more like this, you can stick some socks in and put it in your luggage and be okay.
This was so awkward. I had to take 2 of these home in my suitcase because I got one for my brother, and packing around that was so ridiculously awkward.
Yeah.
I made it happen. It happened.
My wonderful friend brought me, at Christmas time, they had those music box ones that spun.
Oh, yeah.
But they were a little bit delicate because like it had an inner and an outer, and she brought 2 of them home. I was like, God bless you. You're so wonderful, because she brought one for me and one for another one of her friends. But yeah, just keep in mind that traveling with them, not as easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about grocery delivery. This is one of my absolute favorite things to do. And that is either if you're driving, bring your groceries with you or stop before you get on property. If you're flying, there are tons of services that will deliver groceries to your room for you. It is an amazing money saver.
Yeah.
100%.
We talked about this a lot in a
do
previous
this.
episode. What our packing episode, I think, is where we talked about this one.
Yes, I believe episode 2.
Yeah. So we did a whole section on this, on where you can order groceries from, comparing some of their prices and options, and for Disneyland versus Disney World. So if you're interested in that, go back and listen to or watch episode 2 on our podcast or on YouTube. Because there's a lot of great information about that there. But I agree. At least, even if you just get like breakfast food and maybe some snacks, especially with kids, like get some snacks to put in their bags or in the stroller, because you will save so much money versus trying to get Disney food for every single meal. We always do breakfast in the rooms, unless we're doing some sort of special character breakfast. It's so much faster just to feed them and get them out the door so they're not cranky when we're trying to get into the parks.
Yeah. One of the things that we like to do because we drive is we pack whatever breakfast they're going to have. We have it to be able to go into our van with us. So that way, as we're driving to the parks, they can just be eating it on the way. You can't do that on Disney transportation, so don't plan to do that on the buses or Skyliner or those types of things. But yeah, we pack all sorts of breakfast foods that we know that they'll like, that'll be super easy to grab. Pop-Tarts, little mini muffins, granola bars, cereal bars, all those types of things. We always do. And we pack our lunches. It's something that we've done for years. And it's just as simple as my kids are more than happy to eat a PB&J and have some pretzels and be good to go. We will pack our lunches. A couple different things that you can do if you have a big enough insulated cooler box that you could take with you that will fit in the bottom of your stroller. You can carry it with you. What we like to do so we don't have to carry it is we will actually rent a locker and put it in a locker because that locker price is going to well offset the price we would have paid for a meal. For our family of 4, it's at least $40 to eat at a quick service restaurant most of the time, unless we're sharing or kids meals, those types of things. And a locker is typically anywhere from 10 to 15 for the whole day. So you can utilize it however is needed. So that's what we typically do. Then we do plan to budget for eating our dinners in the parks. But we instantly cut our cost almost in half because the groceries are significantly cheaper than what a quick service meal would be.
Yeah. And sometimes we go back to our room and prepare food and stuff, like every once in a while, if we're having maybe a resort day and we don't feel like going out to eat and we've been swimming all day or something, then we'll just make a meal in our room. And sometimes I'll get things that are super easy to prepare because I am not doing a lot of cooking on vacation myself. No. That's just personal preference. But But we've also talked too about grocery delivery being a really good option for those who have food allergies as well. So if you have a villa or at least a small kitchenette in your room where you can make food that is allergy friendly for your kids. So grocery delivery is a great way to not only save money, but also be safer too. So big fan of grocery delivery.
Absolutely.
And you can get water delivered too. So water bottles.
Yes. And we typically, because we do that, we tend to spend a tiny bit more on our room, and we usually do a suite of some sort, so that way we have a little bit more kitchen space because we know we're going to be utilizing that for breakfast and lunch. So even if we just take the money that we would have spent on food and put it towards that, it's well worth it for us. We stayed at the All-Star Music Family Suite, and their kitchen is amazing. It's so much better than even the Art of Animation suites that they have. It's twice the size. It's got a bigger fridge. It's got a full sink.
That's great.
I love those rooms now. just because we utilize that kitchen so much in making meals and planning and packing lunches and all that. It's really, really great to have as well. So I had a couple questions over here and a couple comments. Tiffany said, don't order alcohol if they're dropping them off at the hotel, because if you're not there, they won't leave it. So do keep in mind that if you're ordering anything like that in your grocery order, you will have to be present. I always also like to, if I'm doing a delivery, I like to just, even if you don't have to stop by the front desk to check in because it's all on the app now, I do typically tell them that I have a delivery coming, because on your delivery you can't note like a room number because you don't know until you get there necessarily. And
Yeah.
depending on how that aligns with your delivery, you may not be able to let them know, hey, notate this room number for the people at the front desk. So that's something helpful as well. I
I do
did get a
know.
question.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to mention that some people have talked about shipping things ahead of time to maybe save money on like suitcase fees or shipping anything ahead of time to your resort. If it's a package that does not come with like a grocery delivery service, if it's an actual package, they will charge you $6 per box of delivery they have to take, and you have to go down to Bill Services to go get it. So
Okay.
keep that in mind that it's going to cost you extra to actually ship something. So unless it's a grocery delivery doesn't count extra. That you just will need to tip your people from Bell Services when they deliver your groceries. So make sure you have a few extra dollars on hand to tip them for that.
Yeah. Kim said some car services from the airport will stop at like Publix or something before dropping you off. That's definitely an option with like
That's
an
true.
Uber as well.
Yeah.
So that is definitely an option. I wouldn't suggest doing like a full week's worth of groceries with that, because that's
No.
probably going to cost you more in transportation than it's really worth. But if you're stopping to grab a couple snacks or just like perishable stuff, we drive, so we get all of our non-perishable stuff here at home. And then when we get there, we're just grabbing milk and a couple other things that are like, fruit that needs to be cold, those types of things as well. And then Dara asked, can you open the locker multiple times throughout the day, or is it one and done? You can get in and out of it as many times as you need to. So we will often, like you mentioned about cooler weather, if we're going during cooler weather, we have our jackets in the morning. When we grab our lunchbox out, we typically put our jackets in, and then we can circle back to that in the evening if we need them again, or we'll put merch in if we saw something that we needed to buy right then and there. So lots of different options, but you do have complete in and out access, and they are transferable park to park as long as you keep your receipt.
Yeah. And I would mention, I don't think we mentioned it here, but if you're going to bring a cooler, it has to be soft sided. So no
Yes.
hard sided coolers, and also no glass and no loose ice. Has to be like in a bag, but no loose ice just floating around. It's just a hazard. So
Yes.
no glass, no loose ice, and a soft sided cooler if you're going to bring your food.
Yes. And you cannot take alcohol into the parks either. Just going to mention that, since
Yeah.
we mentioned
It's
that
always good
earlier
to
with
mention.
with the delivery, you cannot take that into the parks either. So just
Yeah.
keep those little restrictions in mind as you go. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get stopped at security for whatever's in your lunchbox. So just be prepared for that.
Yep.
We would send my husband with the lunches and me with everything else, and typically he got stopped every time, or vice versa, depending on who had the stroller and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so keep that in mind that we got told by the security officers that even like the foil in chip bags will set off the sensors sometimes.
Everything
So
sets off those centers. I tell you, everything, literally everything.
yes, so do be prepared for that as well.
That's great.
Okay,
Lots of
I
good
think
food
that's all
information.
on the food.
Yeah.
It was a lot on food, but I think it's a huge way to save. And like I said, it's kind of the number one way that my family typically saves whenever we go down to the parks.
So it looks like we have just a couple more things on our list
Yeah.
here for how to save money at Disney. Do you want to talk about Magic Extras?
Yeah, so we have talked before about when you book a package through Disney. So that means resort, so your room and tickets at the same time. You get what they call Magic Extras, and that includes vouchers for mini golf, things like that. We talked a little bit about it in our last episode as well, but utilizing those can be a way to save. Typically, they'll give each member of your party one like voucher for mini golf. And that can save you money on your day off that you're not going to be in the parks. So things like that. And occasionally they don't actually physically send those packages in the mail anymore. It used to come like with your magic bands or as a
was so
separate
fun.
little set. I know. But if you go to the front desk and ask them about the magic extras that come with your package, they'll definitely look it up and get you all situated. They still have like the little packets at the front desks.
Yeah. I kind of
So
miss
keep that
those
in mind.
'cause I don't get those
know.
anymore as an AP. Like I don't get any of it anymore as an AP because you have to buy your tickets and your resort. Like you have to buy it as a package, and when you're annual pass holder, you're not buying your tickets. So if you just get a resort, you don't get all the extras. So
Yeah, you get a lot of discounts though.
I do get some
So,
discounts. It's true, but it's
but
I'm
yes,
just
so
saying, I'm just sad.
definitely, yeah, so definitely take a look at those magic extras. I'm not even sure what all is in them anymore because we haven't had time on our last couple trips to look into it. So I'll have to do some research a little bit more on what all is offered in those. I know mini golf is one of those things, and I think there used to be like arcade tickets at one point were in there, and they had a couple other like 10% off at this restaurant or, those types of things. So definitely ask if that's something that you're wanting to take advantage of.
Yes, absolutely. Well, one thing that I added to our list is I know that buying matching shirts and things like that is really fun, and I'm not advocating for not doing it. But if you're looking to save some money, sometimes just Disney bounding with some items in your closet that you might already have is a really fun way to have kind of matching family outfits without spending a lot of money on matching shirts, because it can add up to get those, especially if you're there for multiple days. So
Yeah.
looking, Pinterest is one of my favorite places to look for inspiration for Disney bounding. My girls
Yeah.
really love to do it. They did used to wear costumes. They've now hit the age where they're just like, Mom, I don't wear a costume in the parks anymore. And I'm like, I knew this day would
Oh.
come. But here we are. So instead, they're like, they're all over Disney bounding. They think that's great because that's what Mom does. So they're like,
Yeah.
let's do that. So you can find all kinds of really fun family outfits where it's just kind of like hints at the character, but you're
Mm-hmm.
not full on. Obviously, adults can't wear costumes. Anybody 14 and up can't wear a costume anyway. So it's just a really fun way to save money with maybe some things you already own, or maybe only have to buy some small things to make it match that
Mm-hmm.
character without having to buy all of the things. So
Yeah.
that's one of
We have
my,
a lot of character t-shirts just in general in my
yeah.
family, just because that's what we're drawn to. So we will do a lot of just like coordinating what characters we're going to wear. So like one day we'll all wear like Mickey Mouse and Friends. So if it's Mickey, if it's Minnie, if it's, any variation of that. When we go to Hollywood Studios, we tend to wear like Star Wars stuff. When we go to Epcot, we will do like Marvel, so we do like that type of theming as well.
Yeah.
And that's 9 times out of 10 with stuff we already have. Occasionally we may run out and grab a shirt or a set, or if we know we're going to
It's fun
do
to have
Memory
like one
Maker
day.
in,
Yeah.
yeah, in Magic Kingdom, we want to all wear matching shirts on that day or coordinating shirts, whatever it may be. But yeah, we will typically do like themed days based on which park that we're going to, because we don't usually
I do
park
that
hop,
too.
so we're usually one park per day, so it's easy enough to go, okay, Magic Kingdom is this,
Yeah.
so we do that instead of, we don't go full out Disney bounding. My kids aren't quite old enough, I think, to really
No.
grasp what
They're still in the
that
costume
means.
zone too. They could
And
do
and I've
costumes.
and I've asked them if they want to do costumes, and they're like, nah, like, okay, that makes
Okay.
less work for me, honestly.
Yeah.
So
They'll be comfortable in what they're
yeah,
wearing.
my
So
daughter
it's
did
fine.
wear. She had a Encanto, a Louisa dress that we had bought her for her birthday party that she did
Aw,
wear when we went to the parks this last year. But that was more of just
that's
like,
fun.
it was like half costume, half just like everyday dress. So like that worked out really well.
I did have a question about the vouchers for mini golf and things. They say, is the voucher redeemable any day during your stay? And it's yes, any day you're checked in or checking out. If like even the days you check in and check out, and then any day you're staying and it's valid anytime, but not after that. So use it during your stay.
Yeah, so if you've got an afternoon flight, but you don't want to do a whole park day on like your last day, you could go to mini golf in the morning and play that, and then come back to your resort, grab your luggage, and head on out to your flight. So yeah, it's redeemable the
Yeah.
entire length of your stay from the beginning to end.
And Allie says, I heard that bounding with Mom Street USA merch on Main Street was all the rage. You heard correctly. Indeed. Yes. We do have Mom Street USA shirts like the one I'm wearing. Is mine backwards for you?
It is.
Probably
I see
is.
it backwards. I think
It's
you got to
always
flip it.
backwards. Yeah.
I know, and then
I
for a
even
while
changed
it
it.
wasn't mirrored, even if it looked mirrored, and then I couldn't figure it out, and I just gave up after a while. So
I
my
know,
shirt
they
is
like
probably
changed it.
backwards too.
They're all changed.
Oh
Oh, here
no.
it is. I found it.
There it is.
Ta-da! Mom Street USA. It has a whole bunch of different colors. I think there's 7 different colors for it. And we've said this before that we are not we have these ones. Mom Street is shirts that we're not looking to make like a huge profit off of you guys, but any profit we do get from it, we put back into giveaways for you guys. So, and I think we're still working on our next giveaway, which you and I will connect with soon to figure out when we're doing that.
I just was thinking about that earlier, that we have to plan a time for our next giveaway.
Yeah, the shirts are available at DisneyCicerone.com, and there is a link in my bio. We also have long sleeve ones and hoodies and stickers and all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in that, they're really fun to wear in the park, especially on Main Street USA, but anywhere really.
It's very
or at
true.
home
And Kate,
if you can't get to the parks.
Yes, and Kate's got some other really great merch on there too from Distery and just Disney Cicerone in general. So check that out while you're over there because it's really fun.
Well, thank you, Jackie. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And we also have my book is also, links to my book are also on there in case you didn't know that I did write a book called A Glimpse of the Magic, Finding Ourselves in the Disney Story. It's a kind of a blend of Disney history and encouragement and inspiration. So, and then my next book hopefully will be out in a couple months. I know Jackie's already read some of it. So
I have. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. I can't wait for everyone else to read it because it's just everyone that is in our community. I'm telling you right now, or if you're in a Diz Talk community, this book is so perfect and so good. I love it so much. It is just our life in book form. It's just wonderful.
It's a romantic suspense that's set in the Disney parks that follows Disney live streamers who love Disney history, but there's a bit of a catch with one of the characters might ruin the life of the other one if they get involved. So it's got, I know it's something. So I'm very excited for you guys to get that in the next couple months. It's currently in editing right now, so hopefully I'll have more details about that soon. So
yes,
but thanks, Jackie,
and
for
Kate,
helping me
you're
out
also you're headed to Disneyland again soon.
I am in a couple days, so I'm going to Disneyland this next week. I'll be there starting Tuesday through Friday, and I'm going to Throwback Night on the 18th. So I'm not going to live stream the entire event, but I'll live stream for a while, and we'll talk Disney history, and I'll show off all of what Throwback Night is. I have a special outfit that I prepared that Christina, a Pocket Fam member, Christina helped me kind of plan it, which was really fun.
Yay!
And I'm very excited for that. So I'll do some Disney history live streaming then, and also some other days too. I'll do some pockets of live streaming here and there because I'm very excited to talk Disney history while in Disneyland. So yeah.
And then our Mom Street next week is going to be a little bit different. So Kate will be live in Disneyland, and we're going to do just kind of a informal Q&A. Where you guys can just come and chat and ask questions about Disneyland to Kate, or if you've got Disney World questions, you can ask me. So we're here to kind of just chat next episode. We mentioned a few episodes ago, we're going to kind of start to do a little bit more informal kind of just talks with you guys. We just want to do more connecting with our community and kind of catering more of our show and our podcast to what you guys need and want. Because we started this ultimately to help our community be able to plan their trips better. That's the goal of Mom Street. So we want to really start to do that more. And Kate and I kind of chatted a few weeks ago about how we can better do that for you guys. So we're going to do more frequent Q&As. So the first one of those is going to be next week.
I'm super excited from that. And it'll be really fun to do it from Disneyland too. If you guys have questions about Disneyland or history or anything, but specifically touring the parks, we can chat, just chat in general, whatever you guys want to talk about. It'll be really fun to just do that. So lots of exciting things coming up in the next couple weeks. And then, of course, tomorrow for Distery with Kate and Kirk, we're continuing our Jungle Cruise series. We'll be in the Cambodian temple and doing the history of the Cambodian temple and maybe the canoes if we get to it, but very exciting history of the Cambodian temple to share with you guys. So that'll be tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Pacific and 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So
you left us hanging last week. We were all ready to dive into the temple and hear all about it. And then he was like, no. And we were like, The
I
temple.
know. It's easily like almost an hour just to talk about that.
Yeah.
So I knew, I was like,
I,
oh, we can't do this. It's
yeah.
going to be too
The
long.
the
So
chat on Kirk's side was screaming like, "No, keep going. We want to hear more."
I know there's great stuff at the temple too.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to
Super,
that
super
episode
fun.
tomorrow. So we'll be back
Yes.
then.
And as always, you can connect with us on our Discord, which is the Walrus Carp Pocket Fam Discord. You can find that link in our bios. Or you can always send us a message on any of our social media platforms or to our Gmail, momstreetusa@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. And if you guys have questions for next week's Q&A that you're like, I need to put this somewhere or I'm going to forget it, just put it on our Discord channel and I'll make note of all of those and we'll make sure that we hit those during the show. And then feel free to also just bring your questions to the show and we will do our best to answer as many as we can, as accurately as possible.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, I'm super excited for our next few episodes, really getting to talk to you guys more. Thank you, Jackie, for being my lovely co-host as always. And thank
So
you guys
fun.
for joining us, for contributing all of your answers to what you do to save money at Disney. I feel like this was a super helpful episode, not only for all of you, but for me. I feel like I learned something,
Yeah.
a few extra tips to save money for my family. So thank you for all of your contributions. We appreciate you guys so, so much. And you guys are Mom Street USA. It's not just us over here. So thank you for being with
Yes.
us. And I think that's it. Yeah, Jackie?
Yeah, absolutely. I love you all, and we will see you tomorrow night for Distery with Kate and Kirk.
All right. We'll see you guys. Have a wonderful night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.